Hi everyone, it's Overmind Time. We're going to go ahead and get started today on a look into the unknown, the second media reading about obscurities. There really is something about like a cut, and there's something about when that cut is like you can't actually do it. It is really, really hard, but it's so straightforward where you can't actually do anything. You can't even see it through. So as you can see, like it's almost exhausting already the way this week is playing out. So I would have to say, as this cut is coming in, and I can see a little bit in the next week, there's something about rest and hydration. There's something about taking your time. There's something about when that cut comes in. It is a good. I keep saying it. It's gonna be a good Valentine's Day. It's gonna be fine. It really is. But there's something about Perth. There's something about like Perth, Australia. There's something about like everything coming out. And you go, like, I think it was best to kind of like do a cut on something because it really wasn't serving us. All right. So here we go. Let's look at the literary witches oracle. So there's something about the mind, about the intellect, and it's something about the past that's been studied. It's going to be a large cut. Because when you're looking at this and you go power, and again, like how strong it came in. So as I'm looking at Georgia and a small plane crash, I have to say it was something of like 3 pieces of paper, a type of paperwork that came in and slid across the desk on a Tuesday, right out in Arkansas. And when that came in, you go the 229 T. I have to say something about number 4. Now, when I look at this, there's something like a vision. There's something about power. I feel like there's something about a grand rising that happened. Grand illusion. When I see that, like it changed, the transformation and the power. Now, when I look at this, you go rebellion and transformation. You can't do. Like, you just can't do. There's something about guarding it, whatever it is. Lastly, with this cut, I'm hearing like 8 cuts, but nothing goes through. Nothing goes through. Now, when I look at it, I can see the plan, I can see it all, but the reality is like transformations, reality, and grief. When you see this and you go, there's something about this cup, this offering, down to flavorful, down to like chicken bouillon, working together. There's something about being sick. There's something about, the subconscious, something about dream time. I don't know why I'm here and doing a twilight sleep test. When you see this, you see the white dress. It's about society and appearances and gender. It's about what haunts us, and that's why I'm seeing a little bit today about LGBTQ plus. When I look at this, it's about dishonesty. About we don't know what it is. When it's creative about just dishonesty, it's about justice. And when you see this, it's about health and toxicity. What is making people sick, injured, and ill about these like legal disputes down in healthcare? There's something about old wounds and illusions coming through. I feel like there's medical malpractice coming in. It's big. When I see this, I see the house. There's something about solidarity when I see house. I see healing, taking your time like 2 to 8 years healing. What kind of surgery is going to take eight years to heal? That actually makes me a little bit angry. There's something about for fun. I don't like that. So when I look at this and I see untamed venture, and I go, there's something unlawful about it, but it is ritual, rite, and religious law. When I see this, religious law is separated from constitutional law and amendments and rights. Always remember that. Spelt differently. So when I look at it and I go, the dark, you're not to be seen. When it happens, it's an alteration of ego. Are they doing like lobotomies for fun? I have to say, like, get out of here. I just caught that. It's toxic masculinity. There's something not well with them where they go through this. I'm going to look like the butt of the joke when this comes through. So when I'm doing this and I see intellect, it has to do with mental health and behavioral health. And it has to do with loss. But you have to pay attention when they go through this. You literally do. There's something about loss and freedom, about getting a gain off of it. So I'm seeing GANE to GAIN, and I go, something about quill, like old quill, 1700s Revolutionary War, something about Fredericksburg, something about a Frederick, and something about Independence Hall, something about Benjamin Franklin, something about Federalist Papers, and something about that pen to the oil and the ink at night. And I go, something like that. Now, when I look at this, when I see this, like drinking the bundling bags from the Patriot, and they're drinking the ink to make sure they didn't kiss each other. What? Quiet place of growth. And you go this, you go bravery, coming on, expansion, compassion. Holy cow, it's faded. It flips people's perspective on what happened. So when we boil it down to Maduro and Abu Garcia and all these extradites coming in and out, what like literally flew up the coop, down, up and down the chimney in here. And you go, it was creative wit and fun. It was nasty. It was a bat. You go into some of our houses, you got to be kind and gentle. And they're like, you can't make this story up on how we're finally getting out of this issue. And you go, this is something about the all-seeing eye. And going into conspiracy theories, and I'm going into this, it goes grotesque humor. Like trolling grotesque humor. They're like high on witchcraft, solitude, working alone. They're like, how do they do that all by themselves? When I see this, it is going to come out in a 2 to 8 days, 2 to 8 hours, 2 to 8 minutes, one of those things. And then you go, for the racketeering. All right. Light Sears Tarot, what do we need to know? There's something about no logic to actual sitting well and understanding on the cutaway. There's something about not on the flow up or anything like that, but there's something about this where you go, it really is women a fly by night. Now, as you're looking for extradites, you go, there's a fly by night right over there. And it hurts a lot. A lot. There's something about stone cold therapy. That's usually when they're like screaming like crazy. When you see this at 3 of Cups, you go, oh my God, what happened in here? What happened in here? And it looks like pretty obvious until details come out. It's all about justice coming out in the next week. When you see this, you see they're very discontented. When I see this, I see the Nine of Wands. I go, there's something about overwatch and like overlook to an overlay, overlap. There's something about like the Seven of Swords where you can't take it back, like something about theft, no theft back. And when you look at it, you go, the Four of Cups is like, no matter what you do, it's not a good offering. Like, no, I got this. I got this. This is what this card is saying. And then you can't celebrate. That's what people are talking about. Like, way past universal precautions. When I see this and I see the Page of Pentacles, I go, it is contractual, it is new, it is concrete, it is tangible. You can put it forward and pull it forward, but you can't be a bae. You cannot be a bae. When you see this, you go, the King of Cups, there's something like to and for it. Well known, toned out, deaf toned out, be a bae. My Mighty of Tones. I have to say, watch as it comes in. Whispers in the wind. This is what this cup is saying. You see this, you go, the King of Cups, King of Pentacles. They're well sound. Why am I hearing Soros? When I'm seeing this, I'm seeing the Queen of Swords. And then you see the Five of Cups, it's an alleviation of loss, LOSS. It's a whole, like, where like hard force slams. Six of Cups. It's happened before, especially in 1992 through 1999. Working together, partnerships, like you say, you can't believe who was working on it. That's all you need to know. And there's a rush of emotions. Holy cow. To the marriage. And you go, what is this? There's a good deal on the table. And you see this, you see judgment in reverse. There is this like lack of judgment to no judgment. I'm seeing like a rise of fog from the ground. And that gives me a little bit of a premonition right now when I see that. When I see this, it is a victory. When I see this, more money issues in the public. Now when I look at it and I see the Knight of Swords, it will come in through and fast, like a running to it, like, okay, I gotta get this call in because I have a job offer. So when I look at it and I go, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, there was something no to it, but is not selling oneself and not sitting well and secured. A new beginning, the Fool, absolutely. Like, they just got to do it. This type of inhibition. Lastly, with this card, it causes a long pause. Long pause. So when you see this and you see the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, it's not well manifested, but is securement. You can't even believe it. That's what's being obscured right now. All right, let's go to another oracle, and then we'll go to runes. There's something about a four-lay. Be it B, spelled B-E, to the N-E-A. When I see this, like, working two jobs, like, were you double dipping? I had to say, like, were you double dipping? Literally. Alright, we do this, like, they've done this before, like, you gotta go back, like, it's been here for, like, 20 years. You've been through this, I think. You've been doing this. And like, oh, I already know. So when you do this with bringing unconsciousness to light, should you put it out in the public? Others how to zoom out, common ground. Yup, common criminal, common issue, anything. Everything is about grill. Grill for the next 2 to 3 to 23. When you see this, you go, there's a lot of protection coming out. When you see this, you go, make your life a living prayer. Yes. Yes. When you see this, you go, activation integration time. Yes. Slow down and work on oneself. So when you look at it and you see ley lines, trust where you're led, you go, there's something about energy markers. There's something about the way that everything flows out. And when you see this, trust the way we come in. Time is not running out. Like everyone is rushing in on this like whole thing. Like get your popcorn, get your M&Ms. It's a reel. It's a movie. It's like the arrest that shocks everyone. It's everything. You can't believe it. But in reality, there's something about like alignment with the stars. Like you can't actually be it. When you see it, you go new solutions and beginnings. Yes, to each one own, meaning showing how unique everyone is over the next week. That's what is being obscured. Now, lastly, with this, there's something about like working together when I see the Seven Star Sisters. Eventually, I see it. I do see that October. I do see a September till March. It's like over 3 years. It's like a little. And again, like having to like have 2 or 3 jobs to secure. All right, let's go to the rooms. Each moon's down. All right, so broken faded rune. Like I said, it's really rare. So there is a closing of gap of fate. There's something about being alone and being like solid about it. Like you're good. There's something that was like born as a type of like instance around everyone. When you see this, they're talking about living, freeze. It's talking about the detriment, about how like it's in the ashes. There's something about like happy. There's something about arsons. I'm seeing California, but I hear it more on the East Coast. When I see this, there's something about warrior. There's something about a wealth. There's something about like getting together. When you see this and you look at like a party, like it kept going on. And then when you look at it, you go, it came in with power. You come in hard. It was like a hidden game. But as normal banter, like in the community, it's like community watch. When I look at it and I see something at night, something about a sword, something about havoc, something with the strength of this. I can't really see it. Some people are probably saying, but here you go, strength. Something about a gift, instinctive. This means like a rock of solidarity. So then we could talk about Savannah Guthrie and about the rock formations, about Everest, about I don't know why I'm saying Everest, because I'm looking at the monument out, and I can't even get it out. I'm looking at the monument out Midwest with the presidents. So that annoys me that I can't get it out of my mouth right. So when I see this, it's about like traveling. And then you go, um, is this something with like midterm elections? There's something about heritage, culture, and state. There's something about the defense, like all of that. And when I look at it, I go, they spin the wheel. They literally like spin the wheel like a spoke wheel, like a bike wheel. You could put in the ball, like you're playing a game. There's something about Lakeland. There's something about Lake. There's something about Lake and Riley again. Alrighty. Animal Spirit Oracle. What do we need to know? Alright. It's odd, but when you see Vulture and you see Phoenix, you can't play a do. Again, something about like a whisper in the wind when you see a butterfly with a vulture. Something about an ending. Premonition about hearing it. When I see this, watch the waters. Watch the waters. Supernatural. You see this, you see cosmic egg. It like I'm gonna go back and just take a look at this. It's a type of lock. Type of lock on it. Something about a med carousel. Have you ever seen a med box? There's a med carousel. When you see this, you see bear. Something about like all knowing. When you see this bear, you go, no. It's been there before. It's a little bit of GI upset again. Again, you look at this, you're like, this is hard, stone cold therapy. And then when you look at this, you go, no. This means like a type of like a universal lock on it and a lockdown. Old like remnant blues. That's odd. Oil rigs. When I see this, old lore, LORE, out in the woods, and you see them. They live alone. They live alone. Something about you would say anything really out like there's but not just Appalachia. There's other places where people live alone like that. Alrighty, Akashic Tarot and then Lenormand. What do we need to know this week with obscurities? No pull on throughs, the lightning bolt in reverse. It's already known when it happens not to do. And I see this, I see the Queen of Scrolls. It's not documented. When I see this, I see Uriel again, like is already right there. It said like a no go to it. No go to it. There's quite a few places like you just don't do it. The Buddha reverse sitting well alone. When you see this, this is like Captain Jack Sparrow. This is like the jar of dirt. This is like Davy Jones' locker and Pirates of the Caribbean. like a forceful nature. There's a type of like voodoo around it. When I look at this, I go, the architect in reverse dismantling. Hard force. Like hard, nasty force. Where you actually look at your mantle on a fireplace, you're like, dismantling. Uh, Setting your course, like falling back. There's a journey coming in. When you see this, you see the divine physician. There's something about medical. When you see this, clearing the way, obstacles. When I see the Queen of Keys, you go, unlocking their skeleton key. There's something about knowns. There's something about a bone. There's something about the bone down to a loan to a detriment B, but it's spelled out. I'm looking at the gun threes right now. I'm seeing as it's like phoned out down to the tree, like so there were like a hurricane or a tornado came on through. And you can see the splintered wood. The splintered wood I can see actually falls out like on a spray out debris. When you see the spray out debris, you actually see them eating like steak. And then I go, this is highly occulted. Like it's really like large out here. And about when I see it, like it was right on track, all the way down to the issue out here. I'm seeing as a psychic about the railroad, the derailment. When I see it and I see the views of the ego, holy cow! Like you look in the mirror and you're like, it's exactly so right. So it's bringing us back to a full circle. There's something more on springtime, even though it's in reverse. Spring, like shock springs in a vehicle. Lenormand, what do we need to know? All right, so when I'm looking at the Dow and I'm looking at the stocks, the 321 to the 322 to the 320, that means stay away. Watch your stocks when something like this is coming in or are known. There's something about like a resolution book, 26 to the diamonds. It goes like full known, like blown out, like stardom. Something about child's play with this King of Spades, the 13. When I see this and I see the 30, I go, King and the Jack, something about like a bouquet. There's something about like teleflora. There's something about fruit, like the fruit. As I said it in. When I see this, I go, there's something about sitting in this large, like a large building, large house. There's something about something about a big garden. Big garden. It is religious aspect, but it's more deep south. Call in the Cajun Navy, I would say. When I look at this, though, it feels like an invite only, but it is a letter. ELE. You'll know it by March 12th. Lastly, watch like the Atlantic, watch how everything, the shipping is coming in. So it's really not maritime law, even though like we've talked about, like maritime law has been so in effect that you have to say, is it actually legal for us to remain in maritime law? Kind of like martial law. So when I'm looking at this, I'm saying it is kind of like a heart on a sleeve. It is pretty known. It is an identifier. and they go and they do what they have to do, but then you have to go, no, you actually can't go to it yet. You can't actually go and do exactly what you got to do. Fine print planning. And then just being at rest, at ease. And that's all you need to know. So, with that being said, there's something about growth that's happening, something about being woven, like we be like talking about for multiple videos. But with that being said, that's all we have for today. Any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll talk to you soon.